Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2 and today we will cover then and now for meaning and function. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazina Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Saleh Al-Ajan. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to apply there was and there were in sentences and short questions. Before we do this, let's make a quick revision of our last lesson. Last lesson we have was a writing lesson, and we have went back to the reading text we have read, and also learn how to use the pronouns, and also how can we refer them to in this exercise where I ask you to go back to the reading on page 61 and see those pronouns like him in line 2 or there in line 5 and tell me who is the person who is this pronoun referred to. And we all did this in this exercise. Not only this, but also we have read an important information, learned an important information about the pronouns and possessive adjectives. We said that subject and object pronouns or possessive adjectives sometimes help us to link ideas and sentences in writing. For example, instead of pronouns and possessive adjectives link similar idea, instead of saying Yao Ming is from China, Yao Ming is tall, and Yao Ming's parents were both tall. No, here instead we can use the subject pronouns and the relative possessive adjectives in the same sentence without having to repeat the name of Yao Ming. So as we can see here, Yao Ming was born in China. He is very tall and his parents were both tall. So this is how can we use these pronouns and the possessive adjectives without repeating the name. The same goes here, that pronouns help avoid repeating the same word or words. So we have given an example of this. Instead of saying basketball is popular because basketball is fun, basketball is a team sport, and basketball is easy to learn. No, we said we can instead use a pronoun, in this case, which is it, and we can repeat it more than one time. This is easier than repeating the subject itself. So the sentence will be like this: basketball is popular because it is fun, it is a team sport, and it is easy to learn. So this is what we have learned from last time. And also for our project, I ask you to find a famous person and choose anyone and find information of that person, whether to use the internet or asking your friends, and create an interview, questions and answer about that person. And you can share this or do this with a classmate or a friend of yours, or maybe a family member. So now, I would like you please to open your books on page 63. I would like you please to open your books on page 63. On page 63, we're going to talk about there was and there were. And we said this, or we have talked about this, you remember, from the beginning of last semester, where we talked about there is and there are, where we said that we say there is for only one object, and we say there are for more than one object, for different objects, or maybe different objects or things. So here the same. Here can we use the same? We use there was for also one object but in the past, and also there were for more than one object but in the past as well. So here in singular, if we have singular singular subject, we use there was. For example, there was an old castle. There was an old castle. Here we're talking about one castle. So used to be in that place, there was an old castle. So it's not longer there anymore. So there was, we're talking about something that happened in the past. So if we want to use it in plural, we would say there were many traditional houses. There were many traditional houses. So here as well, we use there were to talk about different things, about plural. The same goes if we want to make a negative sentences. We would say There wasn't a shopping mall. There wasn't a shopping mall. Wasn't is a short form of was not. The same goes here in plural. We can say there weren't any modern skyscrapers. So the same goes here. So to sum it up, in singular, we use there was for a single object, and we use there were for different or plural or more than one object. And if we want to make questions like this, so we start always with the verb to be. Was there a restaurant? Was there a restaurant? The answer, the short answers as always will be the same. Yes, there was, or no, there wasn't. And if you want to use questions with where, it will be like this. Were there any stores? So this is for plural. Were there any stores? And the answer will be yes, there were, or no, there weren't. So when can we use there was and there were? So these are facts. These are important information that we need to learn before start using there was and there were. So we start using there was and there were in the past. This is the most important thing, that we use them in the past. And also the use of there was or there were to talk about past situations, to talk about things that happened in the past, and the use of other verbs in the simple past to describe completed actions. So for example, what do you mean by completed actions? It means that when I say I played football, it means that I played football, I finished playing football, and now I am doing something else. But when we talk about, when we use there was or there were, here I'm not talking about action themselves, but I'm talking about situation. For example, there was an old castle. It was there. Or there were stores at that mall. So here I'm talking not about actions, but I'm talking about situations. And also another important thing is that there was or wasn't is used with singular nouns, as we have said, and also non-count nouns or uncountable nouns. And there were or weren't is used with plural nouns, as we have learned from the previous slide. And now on your books, we have a very interesting exercise. On your books, you can see two pictures, and those pictures is written under them. The first one is Lee's apartment then and Lee's apartment now. So what do we need to do here? Let's see. 10 years ago, Lee was a poor student. Now he is a successful architect. Look at his apartments then and now. Describe his old apartment. Use there was, there wasn't, there were, or there weren't. So what we need to do here is to have a look at these two apartments. We have Lee's apartment then, it means in the past, and we have Lee's apartment now, in the present. And what we need to do is we're going to look at Lee's apartment then, back at this time, and we'll try to use the create sentences using there was or there wasn't, or there were or there weren't. Let me show you. Let's try to do the first one and show you the example of this. So here in this exercise, already the things or the items already written here. So what we need to do is to decide whether to use there was or there were. So as we have said that we use there was for singular, and we use there were for plural or more than one thing. So let's read the sentence here before we decide. So number one says only one room. Only one room. So here, what should we use? Should we use there was or there were? Excellent, there was. So here, because this is singular, we use there was. And the answer is not yet ready. So what should we say? Should we say there was or there wasn't? So what I need you to do now is to have a look at the pictures you have on the left side of the page and see. you can decide whether there was only one room or there wasn't only one room. So the answer will be there was only one room. In his apartment, from looking at the picture, there was only one room. And number 2, blank any other rooms. Any other rooms. So here, what should we decide? Or what should we write? There was or there were? Excellent, we choose there were because here we're talking about rooms, not only one room. So let's have a look at the pictures on the left, or the picture of his apartment, and let's see. Should we choose there were or there were or there weren't? And the answer would be there weren't any other rooms. There weren't any other rooms. And number 3, an old sofa. An old sofa. So here we're talking about only one sofa. So what should we choose? Should we choose there was or there were? Excellent. Here we choose there was. And whether we should use there was or there wasn't depends on you when you have a look at the picture. So have a look and tell me what should we choose? There was or there wasn't? Excellent. The answer is there was. Number 4, holes in the sofa. Holes in the sofa. So again, here, should we use there was or there were? Excellent, it's there were because here we're talking about holes. We're not talking about this sofa, we're talking about the holes that were mentioned before. And by having a look at the picture, we can say that there were holes in that sofa. And number 5, a comfortable bed. A comfortable bed. So here we're talking about only one bed. Here we're talking about only one bed. So what should we choose? There was or there were? Excellent, there was. And by having a look at the picture of his apartment, then we can say that there wasn't a comfortable bed. There wasn't a comfortable bed. Now let's continue with number 6. Number 6, a balcony. So there was or there were? Very good. It's there was, and by having a look, it will be the answer will be there wasn't a balcony. There wasn't a balcony. And number 7, blank any windows. Any windows. So we're going to have a look at windows. So what do you think? Should we use there was or there were? Excellent. We choose there were because here we're talking about windows, plural. And since we're talking about plural, and since we're going to have a look at his apartment, we can say now it is there weren't. There weren't any windows. And number 8, some books on a shelf. Some books on a shelf. So here again, don't be fooled. So here we're talking not about the shelf, which is singular. Here we're talking about books, which is plural. So what should we choose? There was or there were? Excellent. We're going to choose there were because it's a plural, books. And the answer will be there were. By having a look at this old apartment, we can say there were some books on a shelf. And number 9, blank a light on the ceiling. A light on the ceiling. So here we're talking about one thing. So we should use there was. And by having a look at the picture, we can decide that it is there was a light on the ceiling. Number 10, the last one, a television. And not televisions. Here we're talking about only one television. And since we're talking about singular or one object, then we can use there was. So have a look at the picture and tell me, what should I write here? There was or there wasn't? Excellent. The answer will be there wasn't a television. There wasn't a television. So these are the answers of this interesting exercise about Lee's apartment back then. So now, not only this, here I would like you to work with a partner to take turns asking and answering questions about Lee's old apartment. and use was there and were there. So for example, you can ask for yourself, you can ask this question: was there a sofa? And he going to have to look at the pictures, and he can answer you by saying, yes, there was. Also, you can take turns. So now his time, it's his turn to ask you. Maybe he can ask the similar question: were there any windows? And when you have a look, you can say, no, there weren't. So try to make questions and try to use these or to begin these questions with either there was or was there or were there. So let me show you an example here. This is the first example. You can have a similar question to this. When you have a look at the picture, you can ask the following: was there a table? Was there a table? So he can have a look at the picture and he can decide the answer. He can figure out the answer by looking at the picture. And the answer, of course, will be yes, there was. Not only with the was there, we can make question with were there. So this is the second question: were there any curtains? Were there any curtains? So now when you have a look at the pictures, you can see and decide and to answer like this in this form by saying no, there weren't. So these are a very important questions to consider, and also to try to write them down in your books. So this is how can we make questions by having a look at these two pictures. Not only this, these are only examples. You can add more questions. You can have a look at the picture and you can write different questions. And it's very important that you always start with either was there or were there. So as I said, was there is only for one subject. So have a look. Look for only one item, maybe the light, maybe the sofa, maybe the rug, maybe a bed, maybe a table, for example, as this example. So try to look only for a singular object or one object, and to make questions of them. And also, not only this, by using where there, try to look for different things, maybe different pillows or different lights or plural things like curtains as we have here, or maybe shoes, or cups, for example, anything that has more than one item, and then you can make questions started with where there. And it's very important that when you take turns with your classmate and or with your a family member or a friend, it's very important to remind them again of these facts. We said that these facts started by there was and there were. These facts need to be used, and when you are trying to make questions, not only with questions but also with answers, that we are using there was or there were in the past, and also the use of there was or there were to talk about, as we said, the past situation and not about completed actions. As we have said, you need to remind them that we use the past verb or past tense for completed actions only, like I played, I drove, I went. But when we're using there was and there were, the situation is different. Here we're talking about the situation. Here we're talking about something was there in the past, but now in the present it's not available anymore. So as the example, for example, between these two apartments, the previous slide, between these two apartments, there was a table, and there was a light, and there wasn't a sofa, there wasn't a bed. So there was and there were is not about actions, it's about situations. So it's very important that you can understand this. And also another important, which is about the singular. There was and there wasn't for singular, and there were and there weren't for plural. So now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.